Good evening. DZRJ 810 AM, the voice of the Philippines, proudly brings you Let's Make It Happen with Deanne Hernandez. Solve your dilemmas with the help of honest and entertaining coaching. And now, here is your host, Deanne Hernandez.
Prayer of discernment. Lord, I feel fragmented. Like a broken pot of clay, I've lost my focus. I've lost my way. I've poured myself out. I am drained. I am dry. I sense a discontent I can't identify. I feel rootless like rolling tumbleweed, moving, dizzy from the speed. I feel like quitting. I feel self-doubt. I'm tired, Lord. I'm worn out. How can I integrate my scattered thoughts, my dreams? How can I find balance, freedom from extremes? How can I slow down? How can I release? There are so many pressures. How can I find peace? Quiet, my child. Be still. Listen to your feelings. Discipline your will. Come to the garden, the secret place we share. My essence is in the garden. Come to me in prayer. Transcend worldly cares. Seek the kingdom first. Peace lies within. It is for me you thirst. Accept your limitations. Embrace humility. Here lies the path to wisdom and to maturity. Come to the garden, the soul-sweet bouquet. The flowers of tomorrow are the seeds of today. Together we will weep. Together we will sow. Together we will water. Together you will grow. Good evening. This is Deanne Hernandez on Make It Happen, 8:10 a.m. Voice of the Philippines. I'm here tonight with Attorney Pol Sangalang, a business lawyer and legal coach. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you for inviting me to your show.
And thank you for being with me on a last minute. I took the chance of asking Paul to be with me. He was on at 2 to 4 earlier on Equal Justice, here also at 8:10 a.m. But we are family, so I imposed a sisterly request for him to be with me tonight so that we can have a very interesting show. Paul is a labor lawyer, and he specializes in contracts. And he was with Adore earlier from 2 to 4, having on the air legal advice. And my show is Make It Happen. So given the legal things that are happening around us, I asked Paul whether he'd spend the next few minutes with us on this Saturday night. It's raining outside. Yeah. So Paul, first of all, this is what I do with all my guests, the first few minutes. Can you share with us how you got to be a lawyer? I mean, how did you get interested in the legal profession? And tell us your story.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that it's actually a pleasure being here at your show and being your guest. And I'd like to say hello also to your avid listeners. Well, my background started when I finished.
1994, huh?
Yeah. Well,
UP?
well, before that, I was an economics graduate of UPLB.
Wow, double degree, my gosh.
Yeah, but after finishing economics, I am sort of at the loss of my
Career path,
yeah.
yes. Mm-hmm.
And
It
then,
happens to the best of us.
yeah, and then a friend of mine is really gung ho on becoming a lawyer and taking up law. So I was
Rode the bandwagon with him.
I joined up with him. I took the exam.
What's the name of this friend that
Well,
magnetized you?
Yeah, he's actually a bar top notcher. He's a fraternity brother of mine, attorney Red Serpino.
Okay.
And he. So we went to law school together at UP Diliman, and then
The maroon team who's going to be vying for their nth placement in the cheer competition.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so that's how I became a lawyer. First of all, I don't know what a lawyer does, what a lawyer
When
do.
you first entered.
Yeah, it just so happened I passed the exam. And
Cute naman your story.
there's a prestige in being called an ATTY, an attorney, and so
hindi yung dance instructor.
yeah. Yes. And so
You'll excuse me, I'm very playful host. Yeah.
It's actually when I was already in my 4th year that I get to understand what a lawyer does. You know, there was a show during the time that I was a student. It's a very popular show on TV. It's the LA Law. I used to watch it.
Okay.
And then that's how I understand what a lawyer does. I'm in law school, but I don't really know what a lawyer does. And it's when we reach our 4th year, when we were into our practicum class, when we actually take in actual clients, actual cases, that I get to understand and appreciate more what a lawyer do for society.
Yeah, Paul, because as a trainer of 40 years for the country, I am an experiential facilitator of learning. And what you went through is exactly what maybe a lot of our listeners in 8:10 a.m. Voice of the Philippines is going through. You're trying to look for the right career path, what course to take up. You know, if you go on as an exchange student or expose yourself to the industry which may have captured your attention, whether it's shipping, assembly, manufacturing, try to get a friend or relative to get you in there, even just for a day or a month, just to see for yourself if that's the kind of environment you would like to be in. And that's what happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So continue your wonderful story.
So I kind of like being a lawyer because having actual clients telling me their story, telling me their problems, and knowing how to go about it, because we studied law for 4 years and it was our practicum. Even though we are law student, we know a little of the law to be able to help people out. And that's how I appreciated being a lawyer, because I'm actually helping real people with their legal problems.
Okay, so that was one benefit or one satisfying element. But maybe, because I am an attorney at large, I was telling you earlier, having worked for the banks for 26 years, I was clearing with legal counsel, Agawili and Associates, Don Alfonso and Don Antonio. They have passed away, but credit to them and their team of junior lawyers then. I got to be an attorney at large.
Yes. Well, law is supposed to be for everyone, because there's a saying, and it's actually a legal maxim, and it's written in the civil code that ignorance of the law
excuses no one. Yeah,
so
but
we should
Paul, question. How do you memorize reading all those Supreme Court cases? You know, when you go into a legal office, you see all that books that cover the whole wall. Did you actually read all of those?
No, that's for only
Let's
decoration.
be honest. Let's be true. But right now, is the SCRA or the Supreme Court, what do you call the SCRA? Supreme
Court report annotated.
Okay. Now you can already view that on the internet. Is it already classified by year, by divorce, by rape, by termination cases, as you said?
Well, I'm not sure about the SCRA because the SCRA is actually a secondary source. It's a private publication given
Of
accreditation
some-
by the Supreme Court.
Okay.
What is public is actually the decisions of the Supreme Court, and they publish it in their website.
Okay.
But it's not classified. It's not yet
So,
annotated.
You know why I asked? Because I have been a consultant for information technology. You know. I helped start the call center and the business processing. And a long time ago, I was being asked to consult to level the playing field of lawyers such that a student maybe in Tawi-Tawi will have the same access as a UP lawyer of substance in a nice Makati or Ortigas office by having a prepaid card to access the
library.
the libraries, no? And I know that Romulo Mabanta has the franchise for LexisNexis, which is the global version of that local, ano. So, what is the status now? Let's say if I am a law student in Tawi-Tawi in Zamboanga, and I wanted to have access the way you and Adore would like to access the latest and the greatest. And as you said, hindi pa siya nakaklasify. How will I go about looking for the right decisions and the
you
right...
have to do a manual search. Well, at least you have access. It's you just need the computer and internet, and you go to the Supreme Court website, and all the recent decisions of the Supreme Court is uploaded there.
Yeah, but
it's not classified.
Yeah, because like if I want, let's say, I wanted to look into divorce or annulments. You mean to say I have to look at all the cases up there for the past 6 months and hope to find the right case?
The Supreme Court has some sort of a newsletter wherein they, if it's a notable case, or a landmark case, they have a public information office that makes a short write-up on what's the case about. But not for every case. It's not a complete indexing. They select a case and then they put it in their web page.
So how many landmark cases do you think get to be highlighted in a year?
Well, I'm not so sure, but probably one or two cases a month.
Well, would you know how many lawyers are licensed in the Philippines today? Do you have an idea how many of you there are?
No.
But how many are studying in UP today to become lawyers? Do you know also?
I can only guess. Right now.
An intelligent guess.
Probably 250.
For the 4 years?
Yeah.
For the 4 years? Or just a fourth year graduating?
Because there's 3 sections, day section, and then there's a night section for working students. So all in all, it's a 4 section. So times, I'm not good at math, so that's why I'm a lawyer.
Well, I'm a banker, but I'm on the people's side of banking. Paul, can you share? Because there might be a lot of listeners tuning in tonight, Saturday night, who may be contemplating lawyering or going into the legal profession.
Yes.
What makes the path or focus that you chose, which is labor counseling and what's this?
Business law contracts?
Yes, business contracts. What makes it exciting? Let's try to entice the people who are listening in to find some wisdom in what you're sharing as to why you chose labor and contracts for SMEs.
It's actually by accident, no? It's not really planned from the start. I didn't, when I was a lawyer or even as a young law student, I never planned or dreamed of specializing in those fields like business contracts and labor law. it's because of my hazy idea of what lawyering is. But when I became a lawyer, I became exposed to different field of law. My training is as a litigator and a well-rounded attorney. So I handled tax, I handled corporate, I handled labor. I also handled family and
Also, you
domestic.
did
Yeah, I
go
did the
around.
rounds. I even went into securities. I handled initial public offerings and all those sorts of things.
So your favorite was labor.
It so happened that my main exposure was in labor because I was I became connected with the National Labor Relations Commission under Chairman Roy Signeres, who is now Congressman. Roy Signeres.
Oh, you can actually help a lot of OFWs.
Yes, that's
Do
what,
you do overseas clientele?
Yes,
As well.
I've
because
done that.
I just came from Sorsogon and I'm trying to be the Pilinat enabler industry, and that's where Nelly and Loida Nicolas, no? In fact, after this, I'm going to be seeing their niece, who's the president of Louis College in Sorsogon and ACSAT, no? She is, Nelly Nicolas, Imelda, is now the commissioner of overseas Filipinos.
I see.
The commission
the
overseas.
commission on Filipinos overseas.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I got the words transposed. Okay, so I have a psychic gift, and my talking to you right now tells me you should attend to our overseas Filipinos who need, like you said, you handle termination cases,
Yes.
and all those unjust practices that may expose our hardworking OFWs to harassment cases or unfair cases of recruiters or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes. I do that. I handle. I actually, in my line of practice, I don't choose a particular side of the fence, no, because
You're
some
not
lawyers
allowed to.
some lawyers
they do.
by decision
Uh-huh.
they choose one particular side of the fence, whether they'll be representing only employees or only employers. But on in my case, I represent both sides of the fence,
Yeah,
both
as they
employers
come,
and
that
employees.
means it's meant for you. Okay.
Yes. So sometimes I represent recruitment agencies. Sometimes I represent the OFW.
Well, that makes you very well-rounded. A question: in your preference for labor and contracts, do you ever have a chance to be a litigation lawyer in the courts?
Yes.
That's always
yeah.
a possibility with every
Yes.
case. Okay.
Before I joined the NLRC, or the National Labor Relations Commission, I'm a court attorney. I handle cases, and my favorite area of practice is TRO and injunction.
What's TRO?
That's temporary restraining order.
Oh, that very popular word.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you, because there might be people who are listening. What makes a good lawyer? What personal qualities and attributes must you have at the onset, even before you start taking up law proper?
Yeah. If you'd asked me that question 5 years ago, I would have
be
a different answer. But now, because
You're much wiser.
yeah, I've been through something life-changing
Moments.
moments,
Okay.
and I had the spiritual reawakening. And
Okay,
so
good for
my answer right now is the most important thing is integrity. You have to have that moral fiber, that moral character.
Yeah, and the system won't corrupt you.
Yes.
That you can stand your ground in spite of anything.
Correct.
That's very good, because this month is Integrity Month, and I will cover that in another show next week.
Yes.
So what else aside from integrity?
Because I
Paul?
believe skills can be learned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if
Oh, yeah.
especially if you have if you are a learner by heart, and a voracious reader.
Yes.
Yeah, you can learn a lot by reading. But character, integrity
ethics,
is something that
values.
is deep within. No?
Yes.
And sometimes if you are just all skills but no spine,
You're like a jellyfish in the ocean.
you're like a balimbing. You're a,
Balimbing.
you represent whoever pays you. So
Yes,
it's like
You're just like a hired hand. And in fact, I consult now for the hospital medical industry. And there was a medical director who told me, Dean, you deliver service excellence workshops. Sabi ko, yes, I do. Is there a way that you can do that for the doctors? Because the young doctors now are so motivated by the earning revenue that they forget their caring and wanting to really take care of the person. That somehow gets lost in the everyday.
And that would be my second because I believe that to be a really good lawyer, aside from character, you must have passion for your calling. Because lawyering, the legal profession is vocation first and foremost.
It's like priesthood or sisterhood, no?
Correct. It's a vocation. It's not a trade or business. So
that's true.
You have to have that calling. There was a point in time about 3 or 4 years ago when I lost my passion for
a while. No,
for
it
law
happens.
practice.
It happens because some priests go through it early on. They haven't even said their vows or have been ordained, and yet I have priest friends who after 10, 20, 30, 40, they're let out of the convent because they really have to reassess whether the passion is still there or not.
Yeah. And I know that I've lost my passion when, even though I receive these decisions that I won the case, I still don't feel that same sense of satisfaction and fulfillment and achievement that I used to feel whenever I win a motion or a case.
Maybe you're on the 7-year cycle. You know about the 7-year cycle now. Every 7 years we change. Our blood cells change, our hair, our nails, and everything. And in a partnership, whether it's with a loved one, your parents, your business partners, clients, or friends, you try to look at your relationship every 7 years. There is a danger that you either grow apart or you grow closer, simply because maybe your emotional interests and your what gives you passion, or what I call the kilig factor.
Yes.
The energy called chi in Chinese, ki in Japanese, I call it kilig in Filipino.
Wow.
So you lost the kilig. What brought it back?
Well, I started attending self-help seminar.
Okay.
The first seminar of this nature that I attended was conducted by People Synergistically Involved, or PSI, and they have this seminar. And then I attended all the seminars that they could offer. And they had some sort of a life coaching program.
Oh, so that's how you became a life coach.
And I also volunteered to be trained as a life coach.
Okay,
and
so
then I went
that gave
on,
you your other career.
Yeah, and then I went on to other organizations and other seminars, and I became something like a seminar junkie. I'd like to attend all this.
That's the activity I want. You know, at 62, being a baby boomer, I'd like to be a professional seminarista also. Well, we're at halftime, Paul. So allow me. This is Deanne Hernandez. Make it happen with Attorney Pol Sangalang. Please call 897-8374 or 895-4460, or watch or listen to us at twitter.com/DZRJ810AM or facebook.com/DZRJ810AM, or watch and listen to us at Facebook and ustream.tv channel/DZRJ 810 a.m. At this point, I'd like to pause for a station break and ask Nell to bring us back in a while. So stay there, and we'll give you another half hour before you go on to your Saturday night dates. This is Deanne Hernandez. Make it happen. Stay with us.